Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome back to our second meeting. Miss Hawa will be the secretary for today's meeting. Today, we are going to discuss the additional information and any issue that arise according to the tax computation. For the additional information, me and Miss Hawa gathered some information that we should be aware of.
Okay, without wasting any time, I will show you guys about the additional information that was created by me and Miss Akira. So first of all, we have royalty to Temasek, which is a company in Singapore. That amount is 1.4 million ringgit and it's for the use for patent but not being submitted to RRB yet.
Wow, that's a significant amount. We should make sure we include that in our tax calculation. What else did you come across?
We also have payment to the non-resident subcontractor for contract works. The total payment is RM 1 million, but the amount related to the service portion, which is 700,000. However, it is important to note that this payment hasn't been submitted to the Island Revenue Board yet.
Thanks for bringing that up, Ms. Howard. We should ensure that we handle the submission properly to avoid any issue. Me and Ms. Nisa will take a note for the portion withholding tax. For service portion, if I'm not mistaken, it's 10%, right?
Correct, Ms. Amira. Additionally, we receive RM 290,000 in dividends from a local listed company. We should factor this in when calculating our taxable income.
Okay, got it. So we have royalty, payment to non-resident, and also subcontractor, and dividend income to account for in our tax computation.
That's correct, Hawa. Now let's move on to the net salaries and wages. We have some specific details that need to be included.
Alright, what's the specific? Can you elaborate more?
Okay, so we have salary for disabled flat, which is amount 50,000, and salary for ex-inmate 60,000 ringgit. And also we paid for director remuneration 250,000, and there was an EPF contribution for director also for 55,000 ringgit.
Alright, me and Ms. Amira will take a look especially at the calculation of EPF.
Additionally, we lease a van for a business purpose during the year with a payment RM around 50,000. These expenses needed to be considered too.
Now let's address repair and maintenance expenses. We have two specific items here.
What are those? Can you elaborate more, Ms. Howard?
Okay, first I will elaborate about the repair maintenance. So that you can see here, there is installation of movable partition for the office amount 55,000 ringgit, and also repair of leaking piping at warehouse for 70,000 ringgit.
Okay, we should include this repair and maintenance expenses when determining our taxable income. Repair of the leaky piping is allowable for tax, right? Is it true?
Yes, is it true, Ms. Naziha? Lastly, we need to address motor vehicle expenses. There's an amount of 10,000 related to a traffic offence by one of our marketing staff. Not only that, RM 85,000 covers repairs, spares, insurance and road tax for the company vehicle. Hope you can look carefully on it to avoid any misstatement.
Alright, so we need to account for the motor vehicle expenses associated with the traffic offence as well. How about the consulting fees?
Yes, we have consulting fee, which is we have to consider about tax audit fee and income tax appeal.
Noted that. What else did you discover?
We also have insurance expenses. We pay around 20,000 for import and export cargo insurance and 25,000 for fire and flood insurance.
Okay, this insurance premium need to be factored into our tax calculation.
Additionally, we have provision for bad debt. There is a general provision for 120,000 ringgit, specific provision for 35,000 ringgit, and bad debt written off for 45,000 ringgit.
Okay, I understood. So we need to account for this provision and the return of trade debt while determining our taxable income as well.
Moving on, we have miscellaneous expenses, This include a penalty around 3,000 for late renewal of a license and 7,000 for the registration of a new trademark.
Okay, we also need to address about R&D, which is research and development expenses, in respect for a payment service rendered by approved research company.
Okay, noted. We should ensure that these R&D expenses are properly accounted for in our tax calculations.
Additionally, we have advertising expenses. Our M20,000 was incurred for participating in the International Trade Fair in Kuala Lumpur, which was approved by the Minister of International Trade and Industry.
Okay, so
Alright,
let's
we also need to factor in these advertising expenses as well when calculating our taxable income.
Okay. For travelling entertainment expenses, we incurred 38,000 ringgit for entertainment in respect for allowance incurred by the sales personnel, 60,000 ringgit for annual family day, and 42,000 for lunch customer.
Okay, I will ensure that these travelling and entertainment expenses are accurately accounted according to the allowable portion for our tax calculation. How about the cash donation?
Lastly, we also made a cash donation around 300,000 to a local approved institution. Don't forget to include this donation when determining our taxable income.
Sorry, Miss Naziha, can you unmute?
Sorry. Understood. We need to account for the donation in our tax calculations as well.
Okay. So let's address about capital expenditure and capital allowance. In 2021, we incurred various costs for land and related costs, legal fee, architecture fee, and construction costs. In 2022, we made a down payment for new heavy machinery from Japan and subsequent installment. For 2023, we purchased a computer.
Alright, so we need to consider the capital expenditure and ensure that we calculate the capital allowance accurately. And how about the last item?
For the last item, okay. For the last item, we have capital allowance brought forward, which is 90,000 ringgit, and balancing allowance for 188,000 ringgit. So don't forget to put it in the tax computation.
Alright, Ms. Hawa, noted. It seems like we have a lot of things to consider for our company taxation. Let's review all these details carefully and consult with our tax advisor to ensure accurate calculation.
Absolutely. We should be through the meticulous to comply with tax regulations and avoid any issues.
Agreed. Let's work together to handle our company taxation responsibly and accurately.
Sorry for interrupting. Based on the rubric, it required us to provide tax incentive based on the 2023 budget. How about it?
I think we can put the salary of ex-intime as our tax relief. How about others? Do you have any suggestion?
How about we put director remuneration as well?
Nisa, can you unmute?
It seems okay. I agree with you. Oh, before I forget, I am confused on how to calculate the capital allowance. Can anyone explain?
Okay, for the calculation of capital allowance, first you need to calculate initial allowance and capital allowance as usual. For heavy machinery, the initial allowance is 20%, and the same goes to the annual allowance, also 14%. The computer need to conclude an initial allowance of 20% and annual allowance of 40%. I suggest you to refer question 3 of industrial building allowance.
Thank you for your great explanation, Ms. Amira. If there is any problem rising, I will inform the WhatsApp group so we can solve it together.
Sorry, once again, may I interrupt? How about the entertainment? Is it true that we calculate 50% of the entertainment amount?
Yes, is it true, Miss Amira? For entertainment, we should conclude half, which is 15%. Before I forgot, how about paid up capital and how to get chargeable income?
If the paid-up capital is more than 2.5 million, the tax rate will be 24% on the chargeable income. If our paid-up capital is 2.5 million and below, we are required to calculate the first 150,000 is 50% and 17% until 600,000, and the balance will be calculated based on 24% based on budget 2023. Since our capital is 2.6 million, so we calculate 24% fixed on the chargeable income.
Okay, so any matter arising regarding the additional information?
No.
No,
Since there is no matters and everything already clear, so we proceed to the next agenda about source of document. Miss Naziha, how about the source of document and there is any problems?
Yes, Ms. Atira, the sources of documents is still in progress. I will settle down as soon as possible, and if there is anything, I will inform in the WhatsApp group.
All right, I'm looking forward for that. Anyone want to add before we end the meeting?
Everything is clear, Miss Atira.
Miss Atira.
I think that's all for today's meeting. We will continue our last meeting on Wednesday. I hope everyone can continue their work and tasks before the next meeting. Thank you everyone for your attendance and commitment. The meeting is adjourned.
Okay, thank you, Miss Atira.
Thank you,
Thank you, Miss Atira.
Miss Atira. Thank you, everyone.